my phone charger.
Yeah.
My phone charger is not working in my room, but
Oh,
the one in my all right, stop. But the one in my car, the one in my car is working. Plus, I getting to see the snow. We got about 3 inches of snow last night.
wow.
So yeah, so the kids are all excited. They're off of school, and yeah, they'll be in the house all day playing around and goofing around with one another. So, how was your night?
Yeah. So your car, inside the car, it is comfortable?
Yeah, it's my 2006 Toyota with almost 205,000 miles on it.
Oh,
And it's, yeah, I depend on this car for safety, and it's sometimes my office, and it's sometimes my napping space, and it takes me everywhere I need to go.
yes, yes, yes.
And I'm hoping, I'm visualizing that this is my springboard to a partnership with Toyota to paint more cars. So we'll see.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I can't hear, let's see. I can't hear you very well. I need to I gotta make this louder. Okay. All right.
Now,
So
now can you hear me properly?
yeah, that's better. My phone is up as loud as it's gonna go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So a lot of Alderson will probably be shut down today. Stores probably maybe late opening,
Okay,
because when the schools shut down, a lot of other things follow suit.
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Schools are already closed.
the schools were delayed a 3 hour opening, and then about 8:30 they called it for the day. And so now, moms and dads who have to work or don't have babysitters are scrambling to find a way to get their kids taken care of. You know how that goes.
Yeah,
So, what shall we talk about?
talk about your professional life today, and you will.
I first Go ahead, go ahead.
You're just talking about something to do with Toyota. So maybe.
Oh, um, yeah, it took me a while to hone everything down to the fact that my favorite thing to do creatively is to paint on metal. And that makes me think about some of our conversation yesterday or the day before when you were talking about the elements. There must be some heavy duty connection with me and metal, because at the same time I love painting on it, I'm allergic to nickel, to several metals, and I can't wear like sparkly eyeshadow that has those, those pieces of metallic in it. And I can only wear good jewelry, good gold, like Indian gold or Italian gold on my wrists. Otherwise, I get blisters. So at the same time, I love it and I love painting on it. I had to also stop my welding class because the stuff that went in the air aggravated my eyes, and so it's interesting, what works for you also under certain circumstances doesn't. But I don't have to weld or anything to paint on metal. I just like the way acrylics dry really fast. And so for the style of painting that I do, painting on metal works well, especially if it's in the summertime and the metal is hot. It dries quickly, which is good in a sense, but if you're trying to blend a lot of stuff, you got to do it in the shade or someplace where the metal is cool. But I drive down the river, the Greenbrier River, which is only about 500 feet wide in Alderson, is is 30 seconds down our driveway. It's right there, a block away. And the main street in town, I think you've seen, goes along the river. And there are a couple big trees a quarter mile down the road, and there's a pull off in a little park. And a lot of times, even in the winter, I'll pull off there and I'll just sit with the water.
Okay.
And in the summertime, I paint there. I paint on my car there a lot. And so people have seen me doing that because I commune with the water and the leaves are talking to me and the breeze a lot of times is really nice. Um, so that's one of the big drawing cards for me liking Alderson so much. It's easy to be right on the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why this area, the whole Greenbrier Valley, which takes in a lot of little cities and a lot of big cities in a maybe 100 mile or a 50-mile radius. It's a big recreational area for hunting and fishing, hiking, skiing, golfing. So people come down here, for recreation, summer and winter. There's ice fishing in the winter time, and it's a beautiful area. West Virginia, all of West Virginia, and even, Kentucky and Virginia. This whole area is very hilly, and the trees are just beautiful. And also, that's why we have a lot of sawmills. Lumbering is a big industry in this area. South of here, it used to be coal. They still ship coal. You can see coal cars go by every day, and we're not sure where they're going. Some people think they're going to China. I don't know if that's true or if that's just people's propaganda. There is some farming down here, not as much as there used to be, but it was a big farming area at one time. And big and the coal industry, when the coal industry was at its peak, lots and lots of the majority of families down here made money in the coal mines. And it was dangerous, but it was good pay. So for people that stayed and didn't go up north to work in the car manufacturing field, because a lot of people did that, especially when the coal mines, I'm not sure when the coal mines started to change, but a lot of people lost their jobs when the coal mines closed. And I think this is a double-edged thing. A lot of people lost their jobs, and at the same time, a lot of people had a lot more money than they were used to, and when there wasn't a lot to do besides work in these towns, people started getting into drugs. They'd already been into alcohol. I mean, obviously that, they make alcohol in the hills here. That's one of the things small towns and hills are noted for. The stills are way back in the woods and away from where the legal authorities can find them. So the poorer, I can't say the state is poor, but the areas where people are less educated and there are less things to do, there are drug problems. And especially like the young kids I was telling you about who don't maybe have money to go to a university, or they're not motivated for whatever reason, there's a lot of drug issues with that age group. Yeah. So yeah, there's a book, there were several books written on, in some towns, in some areas down here, everybody turned the other way when it came to drugs, pills, illegal pills. Not the pills weren't illegal, but there were pharmacies and pharmaceutical distributors and food chains and drugstores that were turning the other way when they saw something's not right. This little town per person can't be using these many drugs. And what was happening was everybody was making money on passing the prescription along. And then finally, some guy, he was a reporter, and I think he worked for the Washington Post. He worked, um, he was here in Lewisburg not long ago. I went and listened to him and bought his book. And it's very interesting. It's sad, but very interesting to see how much money all the people that were looking the other way made, from pharmacies to distributors to all those people I was talking about. And well-known families were involved in the process. Some of those families kind of, got their sense of integrity back, and they were part of helping this guy write the book. But he wrote a very small article on what he had researched and found out, and somehow it got to the Washington Post, to one of the big newspapers here, and it just went crazy. And the whole thing burst open, and he ended up winning a Nobel Prize just because of that little article, based on what it was about. And he exposed a lot of people and a lot of organizations that should have been paying attention and weren't, but they weren't, because so many people, including people in Washington, were making money on the deal. So it's a significant problem, and just the way it is down here. I don't know what it will take. I don't know what it will take and what kind of scope it will take to make it any different. But yeah, there's a lot of issues with drugs. So
yeah.
yeah. Is it like that? Are drugs that are legal but very addictive available in India easily?
Not that easily.
Okay.
Addictive kind of thing, which is prohibited, and you can find it easily. It is not like that. But there are, I haven't seen those kind of drugs somebody is getting addicted to because of certain reasons. I can tell the story of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't have sleep. She had lot of anxiety in her body. You can see it was.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can say that it is baseless anxiety, because there was nothing to prove that there could be any worry. But she was a person who could feel a lot of things,
Yeah.
which nobody else can see. She
Yeah.
can feel it ahead. So those kind of people can get this anxiety. So
Right.
she couldn't sleep, because what she was able to see, nobody else was able to seeing. But
Yeah.
my father was a big fan of her. She he was in love with her uh, because of what she was. So
Yeah.
he knew somewhere she is right, but he didn't know how she was right. He only knew that if she is saying this, then it is true.
Yeah.
So we also didn't understand why my father supported her so much.
Yeah.
So it didn't help her anxiety at all, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it also, there are certain other things also, because of which that kind of, if people have that kind of ability, then I
Right.
think they become schizophrenic kind, or uh, they are termed as schizophrenic.
Yeah.
I half understand that, because because what I could understand was she had a lot of she was a brilliant student and had a brilliant mind. She was
Mm.
on her time and she thought and she could analyze things in a hugely different way than other ladies do even today.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And her mother, my grandmother, was even more than her. So I have got that, but she was very, very logical. She was very
Yeah.
practical. But my mother was not very practical, but she had that ability,
Yeah.
brilliance. But because of all this, she couldn't sleep, which means she had to take these drugs. And one tablet of that drug will make you sleep for 24 hours easily. You cannot
Yeah.
wake up.
Yeah.
She could consume 12 and still she couldn't sleep, you know. So
Mm.
taking that many tablets and surviving is some kind of a miracle.
Yeah.
But that is what I have seen. She would take pill after pill and
Mm.
still no sleep. She
Yeah.
survived. She didn't have any disease at all till her death.
Yeah.
Only she got cancer at a very later stage, and that is how she died. But she didn't feel it much. Before
Yeah.
the pain could have hit her, she was gone. So,
Oh.
but she was very healthy and very strong willpower,
Uh-huh.
and whatever. If she didn't understand something, she won't obey anything. She won't accept anything. If she is
Mm-hmm.
convinced, it takes her just a second to decide.
Okay.
So, very strong willed, lot of capability, and she
Mm-hmm.
was like this, you know.
So you take after your mom a lot.
I can say so because my situation as I have described to you, I couldn't have done anything else.
Yeah.
I didn't have the choice to break down or become anxious because
Yeah.
I have two daughters to raise.
Right.
So I
Right.
didn't have that choice to, and nobody was there to support me as well, like my father supported her.
Sure.
So,
But you have learned to keep yourself away from situations and drama that lend itself to that. So you keep yourself safe from that.
yeah, yeah. So that way I feel there were situations, as I told you, I keep on telling you that it was not only my ability, it was a lot of surprises happening around me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some kind of support came which I didn't know from where. So those kind of situations, and some kind, I always am open to ideas, and something I heard which helped me. So everything, every minute of my life, I think I have been supported with this kind
Mm-hmm.
of surprises. So that way it was. And so coming back to your question, whether it is available. So it was available to her. That is how she was consuming so many tablets, and the doctor couldn't believe that she was okay with consuming 12. Even
Wow.
even with 5, people have died. So
Yeah.
so it was, you can say, another miracle that was going on in front of me for years. you know.
Yeah. I guess so.
So yeah.
Do you and your mom did you practice Ayurvedic medicine? Do you follow the Ayurvedic medicine?
Mo- my mother was like, she had very peculiar kind of habits. She was she loved taking medicines, But I don't take medicine at all.
Yeah,
I don't go to hospital or anything. Only
yeah,
when my children were born, that is when
right.
I went. And when I was younger, then I don't remember whether I went or not. But
Yeah.
I don't remember of going to hospital or to a doctor for anything because I actually I depended on homeopathy a lot,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and everybody says that it is not effective. But the moment I consume just one, 2, 3 globules of it,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I'm done. So
Mm-hmm.
it worked for me like that. And for all other things, I was a naturopath, you can say, following
Mm-hmm.
myself that it will get okay. Even if today, if I have fever, I won't know that I have. Only the symptoms, those happen, only know,
Yeah.
then only I know that I had fever, but I can't feel it.
Yeah. Good
So
for you.
I
I think
can't.
I'm.
Hmm, yes.
We're both pretty healthy, I think.
Yes, 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 yes.
Mm-hmm.
And because of those reasons that you just the similarity you can see that this is something which we can give to other people. This is just thought process. Mm,
Yeah.
there's nothing more than that. And if you tell anybody that it is just the thoughts which keeps you healthy, nobody believes, nobody takes that.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
There's a lot of skeptics that don't believe that, but it works for if as long as it works for us.
yeah, yeah. No, it will work for everybody, provided they they have this conviction that it works. Otherwise, they are only
Yeah.
sabotaging their own
Right.
chances.
Yeah. Here in the States, the pharmaceutical company and the medical industry and medicine is an industry.
Yeah,
And here, most people, the larger percentage of people are tied into their medical insurance companies. And it's several times a year, people start going crazy about, do I have to change my medical coverage? And it gets goofy because people do not have the concept that they can heal themselves. You know, most people don't believe that. But that's how it is. Uh, most people and people who do healing work, light workers like you and like me, uh, we have a different mindset. If I broke a bone and it was gushing, I'd be taking myself to the hospital. I'm not so sure I would, try to heal a gushing bone. But other stuff, I know, I'm working on my knee right now,
yeah,
and I had a bad congestion stuff happen in the beginning of the week, and the hemisync thing helped me a lot. It helped my knee, and it helped my congestion. So I was listening to a hemisync this morning, 35 minutes of it, and it was to take you from a level 10 to a 12, and the 12 is where you are, where all those surprises you were talking about happen, all the stuff you don't know that you don't know. And so when I was at a 12 level, I was at that place in my past life where I was telling you I became conscious of myself. I kind of hovered in that area for a while. Nothing, earth shattering came out of being there other than, oh, I can go back there anytime I want. Something I always wanted, this is an insight I had, oh, I don't know, years ago, a year or so ago, maybe longer. I always wanted to be a ballerina, and I don't have long legs and arms and I have a long neck. That's all I got. But I went into I went into a meditative state and I imagined myself. I don't know if I told you this. Maybe I told you this. I imagined myself in a ballerina tutu with long arms and long legs and ballet shoes on. And I imagined myself in that outfit. And suddenly I realized that didn't feel any different than when I was reminiscing about things that really did happen, but in the past. So I recognized how easy it is to create anything you want in your head. You can create anything you want and you can reminisce about it as if it had been true or as if it's presently true. And I think that's part of the process you and I talk about, creating what you want in the future too. If you can see it and you can create it and it feels like it's real, it could be real. You could create it in some way, shape, or form at some, may not manifest immediately, or maybe it will, but that was an interesting insight. It's like, oh my, that feels as real as all the other things that have happened in the past. That was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead,
So,
tell me more about that, those kind of experiences, because I never had those kind of experiences.
yeah. Um, these are the ones that stick out in my head. They almost all happen in nature. Most of the ones that happen like that happen when I'm outside in nature. When when Austin was 3 and Nate was 5, that's when I got divorced from John.
Mm.
And there was a lot of, upset and all the stuff that goes with that until you work your way through it. And I remember taking a trip to I was in Minnesota. I think I was in Minnesota with a group of women. We were on a retreat, and I slept outside for. I wanted to sleep outside, and it was nice weather. And in the morning, when I woke up, I was in a sleeping bag, and I woke up and I looked up at the blue sky, and I started with the sky, and I went. I looked at how magnificent it was, and then I went down to the right and there were the pine trees and then there was a fence, and I was appreciating all of that. And then I came to the ground and there were flowers and grass. And then all of a sudden there was me. And I thought, ah, if I can appreciate all these other things in their magnificence, I better learn to appreciate myself because I'm obviously part of this big 360-degree circle. And that was a real awakening. That was a real awakening. That was very helpful to me being able to appreciate myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I don't remember chronologically. This I took a class in psychic stuff at this place, and we were in a class, and at the end of the class, this is not related, but it is just because it's the same kind of spiritual subject. So I was in this class and the class ended, and the instructor, we were supposed to reconnect with the partner. We had partners in class and we were supposed to reconnect with them, I think when we got back after our break. Anyway, when I started to walk out of this class, as best I can remember, I started thinking of this person, and I can't remember whether she was in the class. No, the guy was in the class, and I started thinking about him, and then all of a sudden, some woman's name flashed into my head, and I got this sense that this woman had tried to commit suicide, and she was somebody that he knew. And I didn't know this guy except that he and I were partners in this class. So when the break was over, I he was on the telephone, and after the break was over, I went up to him and I said, this is going to sound really crazy, but I got this name for you, and I see this person in a choir robe, and I think that something bad is going on with her. And so he called her, and he found out it was somebody that he knew from church. I think he was in the choir with her, and she had, in fact, tried to commit suicide while he was in this class. So I'm telling you that because it pops out in my head, and it was one of those times when we were learning to make our psychic abilities better. Yeah. Oh, this was a major. This didn't have to do with psychic ability, but it was very powerful, kind of like the 360 circle. Mm-hmm. In the time that I was deciding whether I was staying in Indiana after my second divorce or coming to Cleveland or what, I lived with a man who had been in the monastery for a while, and they rejected him. He was not a good fit as a monk. Anyway, his parents bought him a house. His parents built him a house, and he was an artist. His name was Harold. And I met him through a woman that was my business manager. He was a friend of hers. So Harold had an extra bedroom, and I rented it from him, and we used his art studio together. Anyway, one day I needed to get out of the house, and I was walking in the woods around Harold's property. This was probably the most profound thing that has happened. And I'm walking in the woods, and all of a sudden I look down and I see 4 twigs. It was like they were standing out saying, look at me, look at me. So I looked down, and everything in this little square of twigs, about this big, everything was balanced. A little piece of twig over here, and a little piece of leaf over here, and a stone over here, but everything was balanced. And I thought, really, let me try this somewhere else. So I picked up those 4 sticks and I just dropped them somewhere else. And I looked down, and everything in there was balanced. And I think I tried it once or twice. But here was the message, that if you will be neutral about it and look from far back, you don't have to worry about everything, because everything is balanced anyway.
Wow. Yeah.
Honestly, I cannot tell you how many times I have used that visual for myself. In the midst of having people arguing around you, or in the midst of me being upset about the antique store and how the guy did or didn't, wasn't or was prepared for me to come. And especially when I start listening to people talk about global warming and we're not recycling enough and all this kind of stuff, I just remind myself that Spirit showed me years ago, I don't have anything to worry about, because everything in its purest sense is balanced. And that was a biggie.
Wow.
It's never happened again. I haven't needed it to happen again. I just need to remind myself, those are that 360 sleeping outside thing, and the thing I just told you about were major. They were major. I think all along, up until I was probably 30, in my 30s and 40s, I think my subconscious mind always said, I need more help. I need more insights. I need help. This isn't working for me. I need help. And so little by little, not all at once, Spirit, God, divine source, whatever you want to call it, was right there giving me what I needed at the times that I needed it.
Wow.
Until it carried along until I needed something again. Because I'm sure if I had been inundated with all this at once, I just would have gone into overwhelm, or I wouldn't have understood it. But but my life mantra is things always work out for me, because they do. They just always do. And I think it's also because spirit has shown me so many, given me so much support and so much evidence that I'm the only one that keeps it from looking like that. So
Yeah.
that's my story, Morning Glory. So when people, people go, oh, I don't know if we can do that tomorrow. The weather is supposed to be bad. My girlfriend my girlfriend whose birthday is on Christmas, that lives in Ohio, she starts thinking she's supposed to go out on Friday. She starts looking at the weather on Monday and worrying about it. It's like, how can you be 83 years old and live your life that way? And that's just her. I have to keep my mouth shut. But and she's a metaphysical student. She has been for ages and ages, but she worries a lot. And I guess that's her path. That's her contract. So I just keep quiet, and I just try to keep quiet and let her live her life. But I just wonder sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've heard of Eckhart Tolle, right? Or Eckhart Tolle, however people say it. Have you read his book, The Power of Now?
Yes, I actually have gone through the audio book.
Okay. That's his book is one of the few that I have read more than one time. I didn't get it the first time. I had to read it a second time, like 5 years later, and then it made total sense. But I was thinking of that book yesterday because so many people don't know how and have no concept of what it means to live in the now.
Yeah.
Like they're so worried about down the road. I guess that came into my head. I called a woman that I met at church, and she and her husband, don't have the greatest relationship. She's very kind. She's very giving. She's one of those people that has worked in the mental health and the prison system here for a long time. And she said she's very busy. And she said to me, she basically said she was overwhelmed with guilt because she couldn't do more than what she was doing. And then she went on to talk about being on this one board for the senior center here. And we don't know if the senior center is going to stay open or if it's closed. Most people that have been on the boards don't feel we're getting the support we need. But Carolyn, who is a good person and has lots of talent and is respected in the community, was so guilt ridden. There was nothing I could say. I called her to ask her if she wanted to come over on Wednesday, just to visit and catch up. We were singing the choir together, but we haven't got a chance to talk much lately. And so, she said, oh, I'm so busy. I haven't got my Christmas cards done. And I said, okay, let's just let this unfold. I'll see you Wednesday at the Advent service at church. And if you feel like you want to come over, fine. If you don't, you don't have to. But it's so typical. That is so typical of people in this little town who allow themselves to go into overwhelm, and then they feel guilty because they can't do more. They're sick, they're sick in their hearts because they're not really doing what they want to do. Carolyn doesn't really want to be on this board. She's going to be sucked in for one more year. And I don't think she could ever just say, I can't do this anymore. She doesn't believe that if she left, the place wouldn't fall apart or someone else wouldn't take her place. So she's going to stay on that board for one more year and be miserable on it, while she says under her breath, this is purposeless. We're not accomplishing anything. This is a waste of time. I felt bad for her, but there wasn't anything I could do about it. All I said was, Carolyn, you don't have to do anything but show up and you brighten people's day. Because she, she's got a nice smile and she's a nice person, and she's just enjoyable to be around. But she doesn't really believe that. Yeah. She thinks there's one more thing that she has to do to make her be good enough. And there's so many people, not just here, just so many people everywhere. Yeah. that are in that position. And I think if we really, really believe that we are more than our bodies, that we're our souls and we're a spiritual being first. If we really believe that, I think we would have an easier time with all this other stuff. Yeah. And if we really were not fearful of death, because, on the other side of this little veil, there's a whole lot more. If we really believe that, we wouldn't worry, but so many people don't believe it.
Yes, yes.
So yeah. Maybe you and I will be even working together on another dimension, Nalima. Wouldn't that be something?
I think so, because that is where this book this idea of this book came to my mind. Because of that, because we are not going to bring out anything extraordinary. It is just real everyday thing which we live, and that is possible for anybody and everybody. So yeah. I wish this book to be so. It has to be so. As you are talking, I'm writing down small things. Those will be the headings, titles. Okay. That particular topic, because in one topic you might be describing several things. So it will be just a paragraph of each topic, one leads to the other. Even if it is a huge thing that we have described for, say, 1 hour or 2 hour, but still, yeah. That is what I wish this book to be. So that when you open this book, you are just curious about where this story is going.
Yeah, and I really believe that I'm just, it's kind of one of like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Not because it's just because I'm just an average person. I'm how do I want to say that? I'm just like everybody else, and everybody else needs to recognize their magnificence. And when I say magnificence, I don't mean trumpets blow when I come by. I just mean the simple magnificence of who we are, and taking advantage of the fact that you can work outside what your brain will do if you are willing to do a little research, and do a little digging. Yeah. So, some of my friends say, "Oh, Sophie, you do so many things, you accomplish so many things." And all I say to them is, yeah, because I'm curious and I like doing it. And I don't want to get into coaching them. I mean, I have before, depending on the situation. I don't want to be their coach and have to say, yes, but you can do the same thing. It's like, if these people are my age and they're talking to me and they don't get it yet, if they don't get it yet, I'll do what I do to help them. But after, it's like, come on already. Come on, let's get with the program. If you're bored at home, go outside. If you want to take a trip and you haven't seen your long lost brother, buy a ticket. I mean, how complicated is that? It's not complicated. This is not complicated. We make it complicated. Look at the kids. I got to show you the kids. They're, I'm going to see if I can turn this around. Maybe I'll just turn the camera around. Can you see Rebecca on the floor?
Oh.
She's she's make she's making a snow angel, but she's making a snowman, but she's taking a break.
Yeah.
And Rafe's working on a snowball. I think he's trying to make part of the snowman. I'm happy. I'm happy to see them outside because they don't. I'm very happy to see them outside in the snow. Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
Yeah. You have a dog?
We did have a dog until a couple weeks ago, and he's buried back beyond where the kids are. He died. He was 14, and he died in his sleep. So we have three cats. We had four. One didn't come back. Yeah, we had four. Our black cat ran away about 4 months ago and has not come back. So he might have gotten killed or something. But yeah, this is a cat family, animal family. Rebecca brought salamanders in about a couple of weeks ago. She found them in the creek, and they're cute. She had lots of little ones, but she didn't take. They're here for a couple of days, then they go to their moms, and in the transition, they didn't make it. She is really an animal person. We have a groundhog under our deck on the back of the house, and she puts food at both ends of the hole so he's well fed. So I don't know. She might be who knows what she might end up doing, but she likes animals a lot. They both do. I don't mind them, except we have a hard time keeping the cats off the counters in the kitchen and off of the tables off the dining room table, and because they crawl on everything else. And when I see them on the table or the counter, I just go into overdrive. I don't want their cat feet in my food or anywhere near my food. So yeah. So it's an animal family.
So I also have got two dogs. I told you.
You have two. I knew you had one, but I forgot you had two.
Two sisters I have.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. They are
they?
Yeah.
Are they? Have they been with you a long time?
5 years now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So both of them sleep by my side, left and right.
Okay.
So one is already sleeping because it is winter, cold. So
yeah.
One stays only with me. The other one stays with my daughter. But yesterday my daughter was not home, so both of them slept either side.
Oh, okay. All right.
So for the last.
What does I forget what your daughter does? I don't know if I ever asked you.
So you remember I told you about my mentor?
Yes.
So she is working working for him now.
Oh, good. Great. One of the women in town from the church, I think I mentioned, organized. We're supposed to take stockings to a nursing home today at 1:00. We're supposed to. She crocheted all these stockings and then filled them with stuff. And I imagine we're gonna go. The roads are not so bad that we can't get out. So that's what I'm gonna do at 1. And then at 4:00 tonight, my close.
Yeah. I lost you, Sophie. You there?
My Nalima, my phone overheated. It had to
Oh,
cool. I had to open the window to my car.
okay.
Here, this is my friend Nalima. Can't touch it. No, you can't touch it, but you can say hi. Can you see her? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
She's in she's in New Delhi, India, very far from here. And it's nighttime there. Anyway, so they're outside just having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone cooled down now. It's okay.
Are you okay inside that car? Is it warm? Hot?
Yeah, I it's warm. I have the heater on. Yeah.
Okay.
I had to scrape it off when I came outside and get the 3 inches of snow off of it just because I have to use the car later.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so our Christmas gathering at the motel, the Riverview Motel, has a little diner cafe, and so we're going to meet there at 4. And I think people are exchanging Christmas presents, just little things, and because they live on the mountain and they don't want to drive in the dark. A lot of these mountains don't have lights and they don't have guardrails, and especially in this kind of weather, you don't want to be driving in the dark if you can help it.
Yeah, yeah.
And the deer are very thick, are outside and very thick now. Even I'm used to them coming out at 4 and 5 o'clock at dinner time, but now there's so many around that they're out at any time of day. So if you're driving, you have to really be careful because they're right at the sides of the road, and it's easy to not see them. You a lot of times you see their eyes first, glowing when the lights from the headlights hit the deer's eyes, you can see them, but their bodies uh, blend in, get camouflaged with the woods.
Yeah.
So yeah. So down here, it does help for people to hunt because people save the meat. They eat the meat, they eat the venison, and there's lots of deer here.
Okay. Despite
Yeah.
people hunting, those many deers are there still.
Say that again.
I said, despite people hunting so many, still there are many deer around, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes the state departments of wildlife go through and and cull the deer out. Sometimes they come through and kill them in certain areas of the country. I don't know if they do that down here because we have so many people that hunt. And here kids start hunting at very early ages. It's not unusual for a child, a boy or a girl, to start hunting at 9 years old, because a lot of them get bows and arrows. There's a bow and arrow season, and then there's a rifle season. And down here, it's a way of life for a lot of people. And so it's not unusual for young kids. In fact, something, if I remember right, Thanksgiving vacation at school down here gets moved up. It gets moved up a week so that it can coincide with um, when hunting season opens. Because if people are going to be taking Thanksgiving vacation, if the kids are going to be off for Thanksgiving vacation from school, their parents want to be able to take them hunting. Yeah. So they coordinate all that stuff. It's a West Virginia thing. So there's a lot of things that are different down here.
Yeah.
West Virginia is not really considered a southern state like Georgia or the Carolinas, but it's kind of right in between. It's not really a northern state. If they had to choose, they would probably choose to be a southern state, and maybe some people consider themselves southern states.
Yeah.
Oh, I got mail. Thank you. All right. Rafe got my mail for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would like it here when it comes to being by the river, I think.
Yeah.
Would I like it in New Delhi?
So, New Delhi is the capital city, and despite you not liking anything out here, still you enjoy living here. You know, that
Yeah,
is the paradox out here because there are a lot of pollution out here. The most polluted city. Uh,
really?
but when somebody comes from outside, they actually feel it. This time we had a conference, and it was on 8th and 9th of November, and we had
Yeah.
invited people from all over the country, and
Uh-huh.
whoever came in, they actually checked checked in at the hospital first because they were feeling that breathlessness. But
Wow.
we living here, we don't feel it anymore. So we are used to it, but it doesn't mean that we are not getting this pollution material inside us. But
Yeah.
then then too much of crowd because it is the capital and many people migrate. You know, the nearby states, they are poor, and especially the north.
Mm-hmm.
The north is very scenic, the Himalayas, but
Mm-hmm.
people living there, they cannot just survive out there. So they have to migrate down south to Delhi for a living.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. It's hard to get my phone to sit on the steering wheel without falling.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So if you live north, you have to ultimately migrate to somewhere where it's easier to live.
Yeah, so north is a tourist place now. If you have heard about this Kedarnath, Badrinath, all those places, those are pilgrimage places, and
Mm-hmm.
many people go there up to the uh, um, what you can say down Himalayas. It is
Mm-hmm.
just at the foot range of Himalayas, but it is
Uh-huh.
higher up still. So it can be a flourishing industry to give livelihood to those people. They can earn, but if only they are trained, to how to be of help to these visiting people, how
Yeah.
to serve them and also make a living out of this. But
Yeah.
that training is not there. There are a lot many resources, and that is what everybody gets surprised about India. There are opportunities everywhere. Just because of that last point connect is not there, things are not happening. The way people understand tourism at higher level, they cannot expect people who are who are uneducated to understand tourism at that level because
Yeah.
the exposure is not there, the training is not there. They don't know how the world has evolved. So even if it is and what we can say is just natural to know that this if there are tourists, then there has to be tourism. This is
Yeah.
obvious, but it is not obvious for the local people, so they have to migrate. The second thing
Yeah.
is in the north, that place is rich with herbs. All the rare Indian herbs are out there, and nobody knows how to cultivate that. Those are very very rare,
Uh-huh.
and over a period, like say in another 10 years, no child would be able to
Uh-huh.
recognize those herbs, which means those are lost forever. you know
What
so
what kind What kind of herbs are you talking about? Are they ones that I would have heard of?
The herbs are very
Like
rare,
what kind?
rare kind of herbs, you know. There are lot many herbs out there in India which are of excellent quality, you know. Just for example,
Uh-huh.
ginseng,
Uh-huh.
you have heard of ginseng, right? The energy herb, which is a
Yes.
Korean herb.
Yes.
But
Yes.
there is an Indian equivalent which is five times, at least five times more powerful. And nobody knows about that. So that is just one example I gave.
Your voice is cut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the internet maybe. So,
Yeah.
um, there are herbs which are five times more powerful than what is there available in the market, not well
Wow.
known. And
Yeah.
and there are many herbs, you know, there are many. Anything, anything just you pick up, that is a herb. And only people who know it, they know it. I tell
Yeah.
you, did I tell you about the chili nursery, about the place where I was before? So
No.
I was in a forest, what you can say, fringe village of a tiger reserve in
Okay.
central India. I was living in the forest and I was helping people to take alternative livelihood because they were too much dependent on the forest, and it was core to tigers. So uh, people were getting killed because
Yeah.
they had to be dependent on the forest. So I was
Right.
helping them to take up alternative livelihood, which means we started with agriculture and then food processing and all. So uh, uh, so when the first time I went there, the people who were already working, my colleagues, they took me to a chili nursery. It was a chili, you can say, kitchen garden. So when
Okay.
I went there, I saw in a say in a fairly huge plot, I saw only five, six chili plants only. So
Mm-hmm.
I asked them, "Is this a chili chili garden that you were? I was supposed to see." Then they said, "Yes, you can see chili here." They pointed to one plant here. Then they pointed to another plant there. Then another.
Uh,
So I said, "This is not the way a garden is. A chili garden should be. It should
mhm.
have all other plants should be weeded out, and only this chili should be there." Then one lady actually asked me, "Tell me which one to take out. This one is for headache. This one is it does good to my bones. The third one is good for knee pain. The other one is
Mhm.
for joint pain. The other
Mhm.
other one does good if I have a indigestion." And so on and so forth. She told me, "Tell me which one should I take up."
Mm.
You know, I had the lesson of my life. It was their life. It
Mhm.
We have none of our business we have out there to interfere in their lives. It is their life.
Mm. Mhm.
It was our idea to have the chili garden this way. They don't have such concept about having only chili if
Yeah.
it is chili. So that is why the tribals are living amongst everything. You know, they are not living
Mm.
just in a farm. They are living in a forest because they know everything is helpful for their,
Yeah. Yeah.
as, as we are seeing in our language, that everything is balanced. Everything is
Mhm.
provided for. So they are already
Mhm.
living there in that state, you know, and so that was a profound lesson.
Yeah.
After that, I never interfered in how they were growing their crops.
Yeah.
I I might have. taught them about several things in the course of my stay. I stayed in the forest for 4 years,
Okay. Wow.
and amongst them, and 500 ladies were there, and each of them had a particular specialty, and I only inspired them to take that up more. So
Mm-hmm.
there were somebody was good at nursery, somebody was good at root treatment, somebody was good at seed treatment, and whatever they were good at, they were known for that
Mm-hmm.
particular. And
That, this is a different project. This is different. This forest project is different than the one from a long time ago when you helped them with their agricultural production, right? This is different.
same thing. I did
Oh,
I did the same thing. I did a lot of things with them, and it is possible.
okay.
In a country like India, because I have done that, and I have done a lot with them, those illiterate ladies. That is why I'm so very convinced that it is possible to do anything, even in India,
Mhm. Yeah,
and to any extent,
yeah,
because I have done it myself.
right.
And those ladies won 17 awards for themselves.
Wow.
They were the governing board members of the district committee, headed
Mm-hmm.
by the district collector, So, district magistrate. So,
Do you
however,
miss do you miss working with the land and the people like that?
so my dream has become bigger, you know. Bigger means that was just one instance where I proved that things are possible. I wanted to do 20 such things so that people will never doubt that it is possible at 20
Mm-hmm.
different places in India.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I still have that dream, and I don't necessarily have to do it myself. I can I can just pass on this dream and it will be done. You know,
Yes,
somebody
yes,
has to have this dream, and they will know what to do.
right.
This dream was very important because uh, that is how these people got empowered. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
sit there beside them, training them day in and day out, something.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I learned from them. As I am
Yeah,
telling you, this
yeah.
one was a profound learning for myself. And then I knew uh, this country is rich, very rich.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
if I eat rice, dal, and curry, whatever is my normal food, it doesn't have to be their food. Uh, Whatever food they are having, that is their food, and they're used to that food. Just because they are not eating my food, it doesn't mean they are poor
Yeah.
or they are uncivilized. It is not like that. So it changed the complete perspective of me. And when I did that, they became empowered
Mm-hmm.
because I was not teaching them anything. I
Mm-hmm.
just have to tell them what is, and they were doing the thing. So if I pass on this dream to another person, then that person also doesn't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That person has to understand what is and how
Right.
people are, and it will be done. So
Yeah. They'll know what to do once they understand what you have to tell them, won't they?
they have to be there around. That is what my learning has been.
Mhm.
If I wouldn't have stayed with them, I couldn't have done this. And these ladies broke the state's mustard production record. Um, you know, which was kind of a surprise to everybody. The soil was not that good. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Everything was pretty average out there. but still something was there which was super more than
Mm-hmm.
more than normal.
Yeah.
So so it is possible everywhere, and there are a lot of schemes the government brings in, but how many people understand what schemes, how
Yeah.
to avail them? That is the biggest problem in this country. Even in Delhi, when I'm here,
Mm-hmm.
I visit, I get to meet very people at the top position. They
Mm-hmm.
don't understand a thing about the other person. You know,
Uh,
how poor that person's mentality, mindset wise, how poor is that person? What
mm-hmm.
use your own knowledge is if you cannot
Mm-hmm.
understand the other person's perspective?
Right.
So, in this organization, with whatever position I am in, I told them you will be best suited for a facilitator. And when I said facilitator, they were laughing. They thought it is a very small thing. I said,
Mm-hmm.
this is this is what the country needs to do. You know, nobody
Mm-hmm.
understands the other person. Somebody has to explain both sides. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
person's side to the other person, and the other person's side to this person. This is
Yeah.
a huge contribution that we can do. And that
Yeah.
is what you can name it something like executive partner or something fancy name, but
Mm-hmm.
essentially we'll be doing the same. So
Yeah.
I take pride, whether people give me the credit for it or not, that people's perspective have changed since I have joined this organization, and
Good for you.
and I take pride also because they know when it comes to an idea, they have to come to me,
Mm-hmm.
and and I don't think I have a lot many idea, but I understand that what is required at that place, it comes to me naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from the understanding that the other person is as intelligent and as resourceful,
Yeah.
as innovative as anybody else. So
Yeah.
uh, this is what is missing
Yeah.
nowadays. That is why this conflict, right? So
Yeah.
when you have this in mind, you have a lot to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Here in West Virginia, um, it's easy to get into the same thing you're talking about because there are a lot of people here who may not be literate because they didn't go to school, but that doesn't mean that they don't have smarts, and it doesn't mean that they don't have common sense and a lot of experience, especially especially if they have as a northerner. I'll just talk as somebody from Ohio that talks a certain way, and I try to use proper grammar, proper English. A lot of the people you will meet here don't talk anything like me, and you really have to keep an open mind when you're talking to somebody like that so that you don't make judgments about how smart they are or what they know or how anything they are, because it's easy to do. It's very easy to do if you don't make a point to get to know that person. It's way easy to make judgments about, well, they don't even know how to talk. How could they know anything else, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really easy to make those kind of judgments.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So as you were asking whether I miss, I again, this it's a huge dream in itself, and if
Mm-hmm.
it is a dream, then I have that in my vision also, as
Mm-hmm.
that I'll have someday some institution everywhere with pockets here, pockets there, where people will be um, the seed person to
Mm-hmm.
to open up the potential of that area. and
Okay.
I'll be supporting those kind of thing. I have that kind of resource
Mm-hmm.
to support all those people. Like
Okay.
when those people are there working for this particular cause, I'm sure nobody will trust them in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to fail first time, second time, third time. They might get disappointed. And I want to support them during that phase so that they
Mm-hmm.
get over and get going.
Mm-hmm.
So that is in my vision. I don't have any idea how to bridge that gap, but
Uh-huh.
in my vision, it is there.
Yeah. You just keep visualizing it and the other stuff will fill in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you were going to tell somebody like me, no, not me, because you know me. If you were just going to tell an average person in the United States who wanted to visit India, where would you tell them to go? Where would you tell them to make sure that they went?
They can go anywhere. Like they will miss if they won't go to the popular places. Like,
Yeah.
but they should certainly go to the Himalayas or the forest areas or the very remote places.
Mm-hmm.
And those will not come easily to them in those packages, you know. When
Mm-hmm.
they would go to the tourist what do you call it, agencies, they will
Yeah.
not take you to, especially coming from US, they will not take
Right.
you to remote places unless you
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of such places. Just between two places you are visiting, in between, there will be several places where you can just go and have your time, have your, no, what you say, your insight, new
Mm-hmm.
experience. Anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you could say that about the US too. I hear so many people saying, "Oh, we're coming to the United States and we're going to go to Disneyland or Disney World." And I go, oh, "Why?" Just because it gets advertised so much, I guess. But it's like, "Oh, it's crowded, it's hot, it's expensive, and there's so many, like you say, whether you come to the suburbs in Cleveland or to Alderson, there's so many places besides Disneyland to
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You really, when a person come, if I was going to India, I wouldn't go, first of all, I don't go through a travel agency. I just figure out a way and point to the map because I want to meet the people who are there. So I would for sure be looking to go off the beaten path
yeah,
because I've traveled enough to know if you go somewhere, you might as well stay home if you're not going to, get involved in the culture and the real people. Stay home.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's what I would tell anybody that came here too. You could have just as good a time in Alderson or, a little neighborhood in Washington, D.C., or a little neighborhood in Texas. They're going to be different, but you're going to meet, you're going to meet you're going to meet some real people.
yeah,
You're just going to meet Mickey Mouse if you go. You're just going to meet Mickey Mouse if you go to Disneyland.
yeah, yeah. So if and then it is because your thoughts. So you can visit India in your thoughts. I can
Yes.
visit US in my thoughts. So
Yes.
there is no reason why you should go all the way to that place because you can still get connected because you can
Yes.
travel inside. So
Very, very true.
so that is when I don't make any sense to many people because uh, despite I love traveling, traveling means this way. It has to be
Yeah.
very meaningful. I don't like I don't venture from I don't venture out much on Saturday,
Yeah.
Sundays. I am home. After
Yeah.
I came to office, I'm just sitting here. After this, I'll go sleep.
Yeah.
Morning, I wake up, get ready for office, and go. And the whole day, it is like that. All the while, I'm traveling.
Yeah.
traveling inside my mind. Each of us is
Yes.
traveling, but nobody realizes, not many people realize that the travel is happening inside.
Yeah.
And if that is happening, then you don't need to go places, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Very
And
true.
yeah, yeah. So yes, so someday, maybe someday people, my vision will come true. I don't want people to do the same thing, whatever I have
Mm-hmm.
done there. It has to be,
Mm-hmm.
and you won't believe, within 4 years, that place where it was very difficult to travel from your place of stay to another village, which is just 8 kilometers or 10 kilometers away. It was so
Mm-hmm.
difficult because there was no road.
Uh,
Within 4 years' time, there were
oh,
roads connecting all over the places. There were only
wow.
four girls when I went there who were going to school. At the end of
Mm-hmm.
it, all the girls, like say, they will be coming from school, and
Wonderful.
the things have changed. It is not because just I did, because of whatever has happened there, because of the ladies and so many things. The area expanded like anything.
Yeah.
Uh, all the schemes that the government says it is there and nobody can find them, the,
Yeah.
these ladies could find themselves and utilized it. Can you
Good
believe?
for them.
So it was so empowered. And
Yeah.
what was making the difference is me staying in the forest, just next to them.
Mm-hmm.
They can they can see somebody, uh,
Yeah.
and see that it is the same life. Whatever is their life, that was my life. I adopted. I didn't have any bathroom in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. I didn't have. Um, I had to go to the to the open, and
Yeah.
I had to bring water and take bath, kind of thing. All those things I cooked
Yeah.
myself, and
Did you sleep in a tent or where did you sleep? In a little hut?
actually, there was a farmhouse of one room.
Oh,
One of
okay.
the villagers had built that. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a tiny room, and I took that room, and they
Mm-hmm.
were happy to have me.
Oh, sure. I bet they wanted to give you the best so you would stay. Good
Yeah, yeah.
for you. That sounds like an amazing journey.
Yeah, and I always love this simple food, just rice and some vegetables. This is what I
Yeah.
like always.
Yeah.
So day in and day out, I can eat that, and I can relish, and I can survive, and I won't look for any other food other than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was an advantage, which is a childhood habit, I must
Yeah.
say. So
Yeah.
and so it helped me to get closer to all those. They had a lot of differences with me also when I
Mm-hmm.
tried to teach them about this rare herb cultivation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it requires some amount of investment, and you cannot just give it little to everybody. It has to be one person taking the entire risk and doing it. So that is where
Mm-hmm.
the difference of opinion happened, and other
Mm-hmm.
ladies didn't like me deciding on their behalf. I told them this is what I want to decide for you,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't have time to for you. You can do that for yourself, because I didn't take their money.
Yeah.
They had about 36 lakhs in their corpus, so it was
Mm-hmm.
paid by them. I just took out about 5 lakhs or so, and it was on loan basis. Anything
Mm-hmm.
that was taken out was a loan, and
Mm-hmm.
this person will do it and repay it back to their corpus.
Uh-huh.
Was that
Uh-huh.
system. So So they didn't like many because I chose one person who was very brilliant, and people don't like uh, one of them being very brilliant and
Mm.
who can take the responsibility. So they actually in the villages, that is the problem. That is the major
Uh,
problem, that
okay.
they don't like somebody to go ahead, even if that person is very intelligent. So
Mm.
um, and uh, once that has happened, there are a lot of politics went on, and my management also were informed wrongly, and they
Mm-hmm.
also chose not to see the reality, the exact thing.
Mm.
Whatever data I had, I presented that, and nobody can refute that because I have lot of proof and a lot of evidences of. No, you cannot hide the roads that is happening. You cannot do any politics on the development that happened. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they could do some politics about my position. So they did that, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So that goes to my credit. That place is my contribution to that place. I knew
Mm.
okay, I knew the formula
Yeah.
how, how to develop a place. Mahatma Gandhi, some like say 80 years back, might
Mm-hmm.
have thought the same, and that is why he developed a cadre and ashram kind of thing, and he was doing the same thing. He was doing everything himself before he
Mm-hmm.
was teaching to anybody, and he lived in an ashram. He was doing all the hard work and
Mm-hmm.
all the principles. So I think that was the essence of you
Mm.
doing everything, being there,
Yeah.
was the to key to the development. So if 20 people, 30 people I can bring like that, mm, then it will be done. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
there will be no poverty in the entire world if I can
Mm.
start 20 people like that all over the world, just 20. And because they can influence so many. I could influence that many people uh,
Right.
with whatever I was doing.
Right.
So they can also do, and so there will be no poverty in say. I could do that in 4 years time. They can also do, say, let us
Mm-hmm.
in 10 years time. Let us say 10 years time. So it takes only that much, that many years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the methods that I chose were all uh, very organic. So no
Mm-hmm.
print, nothing. So
Mm-hmm.
I was also doing this beekeeping, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
now I heard in COP26 there were 26 people who were recognized for certain things, certain contribution towards
Uh-huh.
green economy. One of them was beekeeping. When I was doing, many people criticized me that why you were doing this. This was not in agenda. So I did that intuitively because I knew if we keep bees, then it helps in pollination.
Yep.
So if your soil is not that fertile, then also your crop will flourish because there is enough pollination happening. And
Mm-hmm.
with that also we'll get honey. So that was the idea. And the bee that I was keeping was very particular to that particular area only. It was
Mm-hmm.
it was is it was a species of central India only.
Okay.
I was protecting them in the process. So after so many years, in 2021, this COP 26 happened, might be, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw that one person was recognized because he was doing this. So I didn't know. Still, intuitively, I knew. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which means that if people recognize whatever has been going on for generations, if they can just allow that to happen and they can support that, then automatically this carbon footprint will come down and
Yeah.
this global warming thing will also reduce and we can take control back. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
that is still in my vision. Let us see.
Yeah. All right. You have a plan. And like you said, you there are plenty of people out there that can implement it. You don't have to do it all yourself. But the fact that you have the vision, you don't need to know how to do it. Just keep holding the vision. That's all you need to do. Cool. Well, it's 11 o'clock, my dear. I got to go in the house.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to. I
Thank
want to
you,
work on.
Sangeeta. Yeah,
I want to work on the Christmas trees, the presents
yeah,
for
yeah.
tonight, and
All the
then
best, all the best,
so
and we will meet whatever date you say. Friday.
um, uh, uh, tomorrow morning and tomorrow's what the Wednesday. Let's do Friday. Okay.
Fine, fine.
All right.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Enjoy the next couple days, and I hope you have a good sleep.
Yes,
I
yes,
love you.
yes.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie.
You're welcome. All right.